Your cat has been waiting. Not for food. Not for a toy. For something quieter than that. Something most owners never think to give. And the strange part is, it isn't complicated. It isn't expensive. It doesn't require training or research or a special routine. It just requires you to understand what your cat has been trying to tell you. Because here's the truth most people never sit with long enough. Your cat has spent their entire life learning you. Your sounds. Your patterns. Your moods. They know the difference between the sound of your keys and everyone else's. They know which footsteps are yours before you even open the door. And yet, most owners spend years living beside their cat without ever truly meeting them. Not because they don't care, but because no one ever told them what their cat was actually asking for. This is what your cat has been waiting for. Number 1. Give them a high place to own. There's a moment that happens in almost every home with a cat. The cat finds the highest point in the room, the top of the fridge, a tall shelf, a cabinet no one ever uses, and they climb. And the owner, almost without thinking, lifts them back down. It's instinct. It feels like the right thing to do. But in that small, well-meaning moment, something important just got taken away. Cats are not random about height. There is nothing casual about it. In the wild, elevation is survival. It means visibility. It means the ability to watch an entire space without being watched back. It means, I am safe here. That instinct doesn't disappear inside a home. It travels with them. A study published in Applied Animal Behavior Science found that cats given consistent access to vertical spaces showed significantly lower stress levels than those without them. Not slightly lower. Significantly. Which means this isn't a preference you can ignore. It's a need you may have been unintentionally denying. Think about your own home for a moment. When your cat is scared, or overwhelmed, or just needs to disappear for a while, where do they go? If the answer is under the bed or behind the sofa, that tells a quiet story. They go low because going high was never made available to them. And there's something worth sitting with in that image. A cat who hides low is a cat managing anxiety with the only option they have. A cat with a high place doesn't need to hide at all. They sit. They observe. They rest without their body braced for something they can't see coming. A wall-mounted shelf. A tall cat tree near a window. A cleared bookcase top with something soft laid across it. Any of these can change the emotional texture of your cat's entire day. Because when a cat has a place they can call their own, truly their own, elevated, safe, visible, something shifts in them. They stop bracing. They start belonging. And that is a different animal entirely. Number 2. Stop touching them when they didn't ask. This one is harder to hear. Because it comes from love. Every time you reach out to pet your cat, you mean well. That impulse comes from genuine affection. But your cat doesn't always experience it that way. And understanding why changes everything. Cats are one of the only domestic animals on Earth that need to initiate affection for it to feel good to them. Not most of the time. Almost all of the time. When a cat comes to you, presses their head against your hand, walks toward you with their tail raised like a quiet flag, settles into your lap without being lifted there, that is an invitation. A real one. But when you reach out first, without that signal, without being asked, even gently, even lovingly, what your cat feels isn't warmth. It's the mild but persistent discomfort of something happening to them that they didn't choose. A study from the University of Lincoln found something worth understanding deeply. Cats who had control over when and how they were touched formed stronger bonds with their owners than cats who were freely petted throughout the day. More touching did not mean more connection. Control meant connection. And that realization asks something of us. Because what it means in practice is one of the hardest things for an affectionate owner to do. Nothing. Letting your cat walk past you without reaching down. Sitting beside them without initiating anything. Keeping your hands still when everything in you wants to reach out. It feels like withholding. It feels like distance. But it isn't. What you're actually doing, when you wait, is becoming someone your cat can trust completely. You become predictable in the best way. Safe. Non-intrusive. And something quietly remarkable tends to happen. The cat who used to avoid you starts appearing beside you. The cat who used to flinch starts leaning in. Not because anything dramatic changed, but because you stopped taking and started receiving. There's a kind of love in that. A patient, respectful love. And cats recognize it. Maybe better than we do. There's one more thing coming, the last item on this list, that tends to hit owners the hardest when they hear it. Not because it's complicated, but because you've had the opportunity to do it every single day. And most people never knew. Number 3. Sit on the floor with them. This one sounds almost too simple. And that's exactly why almost no one does it. Think about what your cat experiences when they look at you. You are enormous. You move quickly through spaces they navigate carefully. You make sudden sounds. Your hands appear without warning from somewhere above them. From their perspective, you are a large, fast, somewhat unpredictable presence that fills the room. And they have spent every day learning to exist around that presence. What most people never consider is this: your cat has never once seen you as small. Until you sit on the floor. Research in animal behavior has consistently found that cats read body height as a direct signal of dominance and potential threat. The higher you are above them, the more of their attention is occupied simply by monitoring you. But the moment you lower yourself, sit down on the floor, say nothing, reach for nothing, that monitoring softens. You become something different. Something approachable. Something that feels, for maybe the first time, like it belongs at their level. Try it once with genuine patience. Go to the room where your cat is resting. Sit on the floor a few feet away. Don't speak. Don't reach out. Don't try to make something happen. Just exist there. And watch what your cat does with their body. Most of the time, the ears relax. The posture opens. Something releases. And sometimes, quietly, without fanfare, at their own pace, they'll simply move closer. Not because you called them. Not because you offered anything. But because you came down into their world instead of always asking them to live inside yours. For cats who are anxious, or new to a home, or who have simply never fully settled, this single act can reach places that months of treats and toys never could. Your cat has always lived at floor level. It's where they sleep and stretch and watch the world. And every time you join them there, even for 10 minutes, you're telling them something no word could carry. I see where you live. And I came here for you. Number 4. Let them sniff before you touch. Before any conversation, before any real exchange between two living things, there is a moment of recognition. For humans, it's a glance. A greeting. A breath of space before contact. For cats, that moment is scent. A cat's sense of smell is 14 times stronger than ours. When we say cats live in a world of scent, that isn't poetic. It's structural. It's how they read safety. It's how they identify not just who you are, but what kind of moment you're carrying with you. Your mood. Your stress. Whether you've been near another animal. All of it arrives before you do. So when you skip the sniff and move straight to touching, even with a gentle hand, even with the best intentions, what you're doing, from your cat's perspective, is bypassing the entire process by which they determine whether this is safe. It's the equivalent of someone skipping hello and going straight to physical contact. The body braces. Even when the mind trusts you, the body still braces. The correction is so small it almost feels like it can't matter. Before you touch your cat, extend one finger, or the back of your hand, a few inches from their nose. And then do nothing. Let them make the decision. If they lean forward and make contact, that's a yes. If they turn away, or simply don't move toward it, that's an answer too. And it deserves to be respected. A study published in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior found that cats who were allowed to initiate contact through scent investigation first showed measurably fewer signs of stress and resistance during handling. 1 pause. 2 seconds. That's all the distance between a cat that tolerates your touch and a cat that genuinely welcomes it. And over time, as that pause becomes habit, it becomes something else entirely. It becomes the language of trust. Your cat begins to understand that your hands arrive with patience attached. And that changes what your hands mean to them. Number 5. Build a routine they can predict. There is something your cat is doing right now that most owners mistake for habit. They wait by the food bowl at the same time every day. They appear at the bedroom door before you've even thought about sleep. They settle beside you on the couch at the same point every evening, like something invisible told them it was time. This isn't coincidence. This is your cat building their entire sense of safety around the patterns you create. Cats don't experience the passage of time as a calendar. They experience it as rhythm. And the rhythm they build their lives around is yours. When you feed them consistently, play with them at reliable intervals, come home at predictable hours, your cat is not just learning a schedule. They are building a map. A map of when the world feels safe, when connection is available, when they can fully rest without holding any part of themselves ready for the unexpected. That map is one of the most important things in your cat's life. A study published in the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery identified unpredictable environments as one of the primary drivers of chronic stress in indoor cats. Not dramatic disruptions. Not trauma. Just inconsistency. Feeding 20 minutes late. Skipping the evening play session. Coming home at shifting hours for weeks. To you, that's just the reality of a full life. To your cat, the one thing they built their sense of safety around just became something they can no longer count on. And a cat who can't predict their world is a cat who is always, quietly, on guard. That guardedness looks like distance. It looks like disinterest. It looks like a cat who never fully settles. But it isn't indifference. It's exhaustion. The remedy isn't rigidity. You don't need a perfect schedule or a structured checklist. You just need the moments that matter to stay steady. Same feeding window. A short play session they can anticipate. A place in the evening where you're reliably present. When those anchors hold, your cat stops spending energy watching for what might change. And that energy goes somewhere else entirely. It goes toward you. Number 6. Talk to them out loud. There's something that happens in quiet homes, in the early mornings and the late evenings, that nobody ever really talks about. People talk to their cats. While making coffee. Walking down the hallway. Sitting at the window watching the rain. They narrate their days. They say good morning. They ask their cat what they think about something neither of them will answer. And most of these people feel slightly self-conscious about it. They shouldn't. Because what they're doing, without knowing it, is participating in one of the most intimate forms of communication that exists between humans and cats. Here is a fact that, once you know it, changes something. Adult cats do not meow at other cats. They never develop that behavior between themselves. It simply doesn't exist in their communication with one another. Meowing, as a primary form of vocalization, is something cats developed exclusively for us. Your cat looked at you, year after year, and built a vocal language designed for one audience. Not for other animals. Not for the open world. For you specifically. A study from Lund University found that cats develop unique vocal patterns shaped by their individual owner, patterns so specific that no other cat produces them. The exact sounds your cat makes exist in the world because of you. Let that settle for a moment. And then consider this. Your cat has been using that language every single day. At the door when you come home. In the kitchen when you open a cabinet. Late at night when they follow you down the hall for reasons they couldn't explain and don't need to. They have been reaching out. And so many owners, without meaning to, simply never reach back. You don't need the right words. You don't need a particular tone or a script. You just need to answer. Talk the way you would to someone you share your life with. Say their name. Describe what you're doing. Tell them about the day you just had, even the ordinary parts. Research published in Animal Cognition found that cats can distinguish their owner's voice from a stranger's and respond to it differently, with orientation, with attention, with something that looks remarkably like recognition. They are listening. Not in the way we listen to language, parsing words for meaning. But in the way that matters more than that. They are listening to you. To the sound that, above all others in the world, means safety. Means belonging. Means home. There's something worth saying about all of this. None of it is grand. None of it requires sacrifice or significant change. A high place on a shelf. A hand held still. A few minutes on the floor. A pause before touching. A feeding time that stays steady. A voice that answers back. 6 small things. And yet, what sits beneath each of them is something enormous. The willingness to meet another living thing on their terms. Not yours. Theirs. Your cat is not difficult to understand. They are not aloof, or cold, or unknowable. They are simply waiting to be seen in the specific way that makes sense to them. And every single day that you share your life with them, every ordinary morning, every quiet evening, every unremarkable moment in a house that holds both of you, they are paying attention. They remember the days you came down to their level. They remember the hands that asked before they touched. They remember the voice that talked to them like they were worth talking to. Cats don't forget the people who made them feel safe. They carry those people with them. And the beautiful thing, the thing most owners never get to realize, is that it was never complicated. It just needed someone to notice. You noticed. And if this is something that's changed the way you think about the cat in your life, there's more to understand, and we'll be here when you're ready.